All right, listen, man. You ever think about how wild it is that some of the greatest players we've ever seen, the guys that we talk about like they're superheroes, they all started out as kids with nothing but a ball and a dream, and now we've got the FIFA U-17 World Cup, but about to kick off in Qatar. And this isn't just some little youth tournament. This is literally the place where the future of football reveals itself. Like you could be watching the next Messi, the next Ronaldo, the next Mbappé, and you don't even know it yet. And that's what makes it so insane because these kids aren't playing for fat contracts or flashy headlines. They're playing because they've got that raw fire in their chest that I've got to prove I belong energy. And when you throw that kind of hunger onto a global stage, under the lights of billion-dollar stadiums with fans from every corner of the world, you get some of the purest, craziest, most unpredictable football you'll ever see. So buckle up, man, because this isn't just a tournament. This is like a crystal ball into the future of the game. And you're about to witness the start of legends before they even know they're legends. Man, when you look at these stadiums in Qatar, especially with the U-17 World Cup coming in, it almost feels like you're stepping into the future of sports. Like somebody just pulled a blueprint out of a sci-fi movie and said, yeah, let's actually build that, because these aren't your regular old football arenas. These are insane state-of-the-art structures with technology woven into every inch. Like take the cooling systems, for example. You've got stadiums in the middle of the desert where the heat can fry you alive, and yet inside it feels like spring in Europe because they engineered these insane air circulation systems that create microclimates, not just for the players, but for the fans too. So the game never gets slowed down by weather. Then you throw in retractable roofs that can literally transform the vibe in minutes. 1 second, you're in open air under the stars. The next second, you're inside a climate-controlled dome. And the way they designed them is nuts, like flowing curve, futuristic shells, structures inspired by Qatari culture and history. It's like art meets science meets sport, and what blows my mind is the attention to detail. Every seat is built for comfort, sight lines are perfect no matter where you're sitting. Giant screens, surround sound, Wi-Fi everywhere. It's basically like watching a game inside a spaceship. And then there's the modular seating thing, where they can literally reconfigure these stadiums to shrink or expand depending on the tournament, which is wild because it means they're not wasting space or resources when the crowd size isn't World Cup level. They actually thought about sustainability in a way that feels ahead of its time, even recycling construction materials. Building transport systems directly into the design so fans can literally step off a metro and walk straight into the stadium without hassle. Like imagine being a 16-year-old kid playing your first international tournament and walking into a place that looks like it belongs in Blade Runner. It's got to hit you hard, like you've made it to the big stage, and that kind of energy amplifies everything. The pressure, the adrenaline, the hunger to prove yourself, because the environment tells you that you're part of something huge, and for the fans, it's just as surreal. You're not sweating, you're not crammed in uncomfortable seats. You're enjoying football in absolute luxury, and the fact that this infrastructure was originally built for the biggest tournament on Earth, but is now being used to showcase the next generation of stars just adds another layer, because it's like these arenas that once held Messi and Mbappé are now going to witness the birth of future legends, and that's insane to think about. What's crazy about Qatar stadiums and what people don't really talk about enough is how much of it is about sustainability and innovation. Like you expect these giant billion-dollar structures in the middle of the desert to just be massive energy drains. But the reality is they went in with this mindset of creating something futuristic that doesn't just look wild, but also actually changes the way big tournaments think about infrastructure. Like you've got modular stadiums where whole sections can be dismantled and shipped off to other countries who need them, which is nuts because normally these places just rot after a World Cup, sitting empty like ghost towns. But here you've got parts of a stadium that can literally live a second life somewhere else, and then you throw in renewable energy systems, solar panels, advanced insulation, water recycling setups that make sure the cooling systems and irrigation for the pitches aren't sucking the life out of the environment, and that's the thing people don't get. Maintaining a football pitch in desert heat is like science fiction. You've got underground cooling pipe, moisture control, and crazy grass hybrid technology that makes it look like you're playing in England in April instead of in the Middle East. And then there's this psychological thing too, because when players step into an environment where the entire system has been designed to be eco-conscious and forward-thinking, It's almost like a message that football itself is evolving. Like it's not just about goals and trophies, it's about how the sport can adapt to the future, and the fan experience ties into that too. Like they've got entire transport networks designed around the stadium so people aren't clogging roads with cars. You can take a metro or shuttle that's powered with clean energy and you're right there at the gate and you're not breathing in smog or dealing with chaos. It feels streamlined, and that's innovation people underestimate, making it not only better for the environment but also smoother for fans. And it sets this precedent, like if Qatar in the middle of the desert can pull this, what excuse does a country with way more natural resources have to keep building wasteful, outdated arenas? And when you look at the U-17 World Cup being hosted there, it's wild because these kids are getting a glimpse of what the future of football infrastructure looks like. They're literally stepping into labs of innovation disguised as stadiums. And you just know some 16-year-old striker is going to walk in, look around at this crazy futuristic environment, and think, this is where I belong, this is the future I want to be part of. And that's the kind of ripple effect that goes beyond the game. Dude, the training and player facilities Qatar is lined up for the U-17 World Cup are just next level. Like, you're talking about setups that would make even the biggest clubs in Europe jealous. Because these kids aren't just showing up to some regular fields with a couple of cones and a gym. They're walking into high-performance centers that are basically science labs for athletes. You've got gyms with the most advanced strength and conditioning equipment, hyper-modern recovery zones with hydrotherapy pools, cryotherapy chambers, massage and physiotherapy suites, all designed so these young players can train like pros and recover like pros. And that matters because at that age, your body's still developing. So the difference between having access to top-tier recovery and not having it is massive. Then there are medical and sports science facilities built right into these complexes, with staff who can monitor heart rates, VO2 max, muscle strain, even sleep patterns. So you're not just guessing about performance, you've got hard data telling you when to push and when to rest. And then the pitches themselves, man, these aren't just grass fields, they're hybrid surfaces, with perfect drainage, cooling systems under the turf, lighting rigs that mimic sunlight, everything engineered so that the ball rolls true and players aren't worrying about divots or bad bounces. And even the locker rooms are insane. We're talking massive, comfortable, tech-enhanced spaces with tactical screens, so coaches can run video analysis sessions on the spot. Plus private rest areas where players can decompress, listen to music, meditate, whatever keeps their heads clear. And the food setups are crazy too. Nutritionists designing meals specific to player needs, whether it's loading up on carbs before a match or dialing in protein for recovery after. So these kids are being treated like elite athletes from the jump, which does two things. It maximizes their performance right now, but it also shows them the standard of what professional life is supposed to feel like. And psychologically, that's huge, because once you've experienced that level of care and structure, it pushes you to chase it everywhere you go. And that's where Qatar is playing it smart. They're not just building stadiums to watch games. They're building ecosystems to develop future stars. So when a 16-year-old kid from Ghana or Japan walks into one of these facilities and realizes he's got everything Ronaldo or Neymar would have at his disposal, it lights a fire. It tells him, I belong on this stage. I can be one of the greats. And that energy is contagious. It bleeds into how they train, how they compete, and ultimately how they dream. Man, the fan experience in Qatar for a tournament like the U-17 World Cup is just on another level. Because it's not just about sitting in a seat and watching a game anymore. It's like they've designed this whole thing so that from the moment you land in the country, you feel like you're stepping into a massive interactive show. Like, think about this, you've got world-class transport systems that drop you straight from your hotel or even the airport to the stadium. No chaos, no crazy traffic like you see in other parts of the world. It's streamlined, futuristic, and clean. And then when you actually walk into the arena, it doesn't feel like some old-school concrete bowl. It feels like stepping into a concert venue or a high-tech theater where football just happens to be the main act. You've got these insane air conditioning systems that make it comfortable in desert heat. You've got food courts with international cuisines, so you can grab sushi, kebab, or a burger before kickoff. You've got Wi-Fi everywhere, so people are streaming, posting, creating content live. And it's like they know the modern fan wants more than just the 90 minutes. They want a whole social media experience built around it. Then throw in giant HD screen, immersive sound systems, even AR and VR stations where fans can interact with games and players digitally. And it starts feeling like an amusement park for football. But here's the thing.
It's not just about high-tech comfort, it's also about culture. Like they've built in spots where you experience Qatari tradition, local music, art, architecture. So you're not just watching football, you're tasting a piece of the country itself. And for families, it's even bigger because you've got designated areas for kid entertainment before and after games, and safety built right into the infrastructure, so it feels welcoming for everyone. And when you zoom out and think about it, the whole fan journey is designed to create memories. Like imagine being a 15-year-old fan seeing your first international match, and the environment is so over the top that you're hooked for life. That's the kind of long-term vision they're going for, turning casual spectators into lifelong lovers of the game. And when you factor in how compact Qatar is, you realize fans can hit multiple games in a single day. Like go see one match in the afternoon, hop on a metro, and you're at another stadium by evening. That's unheard of in most countries where stadiums are hours apart. And that gives you this feeling like you're in the middle of one giant festival where football is happening all around you, non-stop, like the whole country becomes a stadium itself. And that's the magic of the fan experience they're trying to create. The thing about legacy and impact when it comes to Qatar hosting something like the U-17 World Cup is that it's way bigger than just the games being played on the field. Like people think of it as this short-term event, a few weeks of matches, some highlights, and then it's over. But what's really happening is they're setting up a blueprint for how football can shape the future. And that's the part that blows my mind, because you've got these insane stadiums and facilities that aren't just built for this one tournament. They're designed to last, to be reused, repurposed, and even shared with other countries. So there's this ripple effect of infrastructure that goes beyond Qatar. And then you've got the players, kids who are 16 or 17 years old, stepping into this atmosphere and realizing they're on the same kind of stages Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, or Mbappé have played on. And that leaves a mark, because years from now, when one of those kids becomes the best striker in the world, people are going to look back and say, he showed up in Qatar at 17 and announced himself. And those are legacy-defining moments. But the impact isn't just for the players, it's for the fans too. Because a whole generation of kids is going to watch this and feel inspired, like if he can do it, I can do it. And that's how football spreads. That's how it keeps reinventing itself, by giving the next generation something bigger to chase. And then you think about the cultural impact. Because for Qatar, this isn't just about football, it's about showing the world they can host, innovate, and create spaces where people from every corner of the planet can come together. And that kind of unity leaves behind more than just highlight reels. It changes perceptions. It opens doors for future tournaments in regions people used to overlook. And there's also this idea of legacy through technology and sustainability, because the innovations they've tested here, cooling systems, modular stadiums, renewable energy integration, those are things other countries are going to copy. And suddenly the way the world builds for sports starts shifting, and that's impact on a global scale. And the craziest part is that when the final whistle blows and the tournament ends, the echoes of it don't stop, because the kids who played here will carry that fire into their pro careers. The fans who experienced it will tell stories for decades, and the infrastructure will continue to serve as a reminder that football isn't just about the past, it's about constantly redefining the future. And that's the kind of legacy that outlives any single tournament. So when you take a step back and look at this whole thing, the U-17 World Cup in Qatar isn't just some youth tournament. It's like this giant snapshot of where football has been and where it's going. Because you've got the craziest facilities, the most advanced stadiums, the wildest mix of culture, and at the heart of it all, these kids who are out there playing with nothing but raw hunger. Like this is their shot to prove they belong on the biggest stage. And that's what makes it beautiful, because every legend you've ever heard of, every guy we call the GOAT, had started somewhere just like this, on some youth stage where the world got their first real look. And years from now, people are going to point back to this exact tournament and say that's where it began for him, and that's legacy in real time. And the impact is going to stretch way beyond the final whistle, because these players will carry the fire with them, these fans will carry the memories with them, and the whole football world is going to be watching, realizing the future isn't coming, it's already here. So yet I think this is going to be something special, and I hope when you guys watch it, you see it the same way. Not just as games, but as history being written in front of our eyes. So good luck to all the young players chasing their dream, good luck to the fans making the trip, and good luck to the future legends we don't even know yet. And seriously, thank you guys for hanging out, for listening, for being part of this conversation, because at the end of the day, that's what football is all about, sharing it together.